Rumors are that allegedly Chris Bassett is in big trouble with the network, but sources say that may actually be a good thing. Why? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more right after this. What's up, kinfolk? And welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, do me a favor and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, do me a favor and get notified, so you'll know whenever I upload new videos to the channel. Alright, kinfolk, come on into the house. We have a lot to talk about, and it centers around rumors that allegedly Chris Bassett is in big trouble with the network. But sources say this may actually be a good thing. Why is that? Well, I have some new information that may answer that question and more, and here it goes. Rumors are that Chris Bassett may have found himself in hot water with producers of Real Housewives of Potomac, but some say it may actually be a good thing. The source continued, Chris' admission that someone allegedly DM'd him about a plot to get Giselle and Ashley to lie and say he was sexually inappropriate with them sent shockwaves throughout the Bravo universe. Many fans actually believe Chris and think Giselle and Ashley are more than capable of pulling off a stunt like this. Fans were even more upset when Chris revealed that he took the claims to producers who reassured him that it would not come up during the reunion. However, it seemed like Chris was gaslit, continued the source, because from his own account, it seemed like Ashley was ready to assist Giselle in bringing up this very claim someone warned him about, ended the source. Behind the scenes, allegedly, production was furious that Chris made mention of this incident because it further put mistrust in fans' opinions of Bravo, Real Housewives of Potomac, and its producers. The team, said the source, has been working very hard to rebuild fan trust, and this didn't help at all. But the question is, how could all of this actually work out in Chris' favor? Well, an industry insider said, some fans think that this stunt could have Candace in line to be fired. However, the complete opposite may happen. By Chris revealing this information, it puts production on notice that Candiace and Chris would not tolerate being lied on professionally and personally. So now production will have to lay off Candiace and Chris and focus their attention elsewhere. Also, said the insider, Chris allegedly getting this information from someone on the inside of production shows that some behind the scenes have his and Candiace's back, and their production is not to be trusted, ended the source. Another source said that Real Housewives of Potomac is in a bad shape right now. It seems they are imploding way faster than Real Housewives of Atlanta did during season 9. Fans are very much aware of the lies and deceit, and fans are also upset with how certain cast members are able to create damaging, dramatic lies without any consequences. This information provided by Chris shows that allegedly, said the source, not only does the network and producers condone such vile behavior, that they may actually reward it. The information provided by Chris, ended the source, is not very shocking but extremely sad, said the source, and it also shows how desperate producers are to make reality TV happen. All sources agree that Candiace and Chris and their bond is tight, and fortunately for them, it can't be broken because of lies and hate. Sources also agree that Chris putting production on notice and making it public may be the very thing that saves his reputation and Candace's place on the show. Now, kinfolk, that is a lot, but as you know, a lot has been happening with Real Housewives of Potomac lately, and just to get right down to the source of this rumor, and whether it's believable or not, well, in my opinion, I think it's very believable because of this. It seems like throughout the end of the season and throughout the reunion, it was like Ashley just could not let this whole Chris thing go. And if you listen to Chris's interview, he said that somewhere during the season, I want to say mid-season, allegedly producers came to the ladies and said they need to ramp up the drama. It's not enough drama. And they were not pleased at the direction in which the show was going in terms of that wow factor. So as you can see how Ashley's demeanor about this whole incident changed by her bringing on the lady who blatantly lied. Then by her harassing Chris about it at Candace's single release party after Candace asked her not to. It goes to show you that she was really carrying the water for producers if you are to believe this information. So it's not too far-fetched to believe that someone would allegedly pay her and Giselle to say that Chris actually was sexually inappropriate with them. Now here's the thing. You can pretty much tell that Giselle wasn't in on it and was not willing to do it, but you definitely can tell that Ashley was. And the reason I feel like that is because Ashley knew that if all the chips failed, it would not necessarily be on her. It would be mostly on Giselle to help prove her own claims because Ashley wasn't there. Also, Giselle being very vague about what Chris was doing in that hotel room with her, it also shows that maybe someone in production did ask her to allegedly put 10 on 20 and make a mountain out of a molehill, because it's like she could never really just say that something happened, because as we know, nothing did happen. But in the back of her mind, you could kind of tell she was fighting with making good reality TV or just really being honest. Now, the second part of this room that I find very interesting about production is this. You know, production's hands, they are not clean throughout all of this either. I made mention of this during the video about Michael and his lawsuit. You know, it's one thing for Candace to say to repeat what someone told her, but it's something totally different for the network to actually air what that person allegedly told her. So it seems as if production's hands really aren't clean in any of this. But are we really surprised? Because if we look back at other Housewives franchises, and the one that comes to mind is Real Housewives of Atlanta, where the rumor for a long time was that one of the producers actually asked Phaedra or told Phaedra this lie about Candy and Todd and told her to bring it to the group on camera. Now, many people have said that's not true. Those who have been involved said that absolutely is not what happened. But in the back of my mind, I always believe that is what had happened during that incident, even though it has not been proven. So when you look at this whole situation with Chris and him giving this information from a DM that allegedly someone on production was trying to pay Giselle and Ashley to lie on him, I just really do see it as being plausible. Also, if you take into account that they had this alleged conversation about how the season was very lackluster, it goes to show you how desperate they were to make reality TV happen and to make these big wow moments where people will be talking about throughout the course of the season. So when you couple in that desperation for producers to have a good season, to, I guess, stay on the production team, couple that with the ladies trying to please production so they can keep their spot for next season, you create this storm, this unfortunate and dark storm over the entire franchise that breathes life into these lies and make fans become distrustful of the network, Bravo, and producers. Now, the next part of this rumor that I find very interesting about Chris is this. You know, I feel bad for Chris. I really do. Chris does seem like a very genuine guy. But at the same time, Chris and Candiace have to stop being so naive. You know, Chris was talking about, on our show, and they're doing this to our show, and we're on the show together, and he was talking with so much passion about Real Housewives of Potomac. I just wish Chris and Candiace would realize that these ladies are not their friends, outside of Wendy and really outside of Wendy and Eddie. And also, I want them to really know that production is not their friends either. And it's just so very naive. And it's so frustrating that every season they come into the season thinking production, these ladies are their friends, and they're just really not. And I think the sooner that Chris and Candiace realize this, the better they can move and maneuver through Real Housewives of Potomac. Kind of much like how Giselle moves. Giselle sees it as a job. Giselle probably sees none of these ladies as her real friends, except maybe even Robin. And sometimes the way she sacrifices Robin's reputation and image, have a hard time believing that she's even Robin's real friend. But I think that once that Chris and Candace stop being so naive to these games that production plays, then they can move better and they can protect themselves even more throughout the season and throughout filming. As you can see, Candace, when this rumor was first brought to them at the dance class, she went right to the producer, and told him to come to the front because she knows how these things happen. She knows how these things come about. And she probably knows that producer probably told Giselle to come at her with these lies and this drama just to get a reaction out of her. So with that being said, I feel bad for Chris and Candace, but at the same time, it's frustrating seeing them season after season going into this franchise thinking these producers and these ladies are their friends, and they're not. The second part, but the fourth part about this rumor about Chris and Candace that I do find very comforting is this. I do feel like Chris coming out about this alleged rumor and this alleged plot really has taken a lot of heat off of Candace going into next season of Real Housewives of Potomac. I don't think they're going to be on Candace as much. I think that it's going to be a very easy season for Candace and Chris. I think that they're going to probably use Candace as someone to facilitate drama and not be someone whose drama is focused around and on. I also feel like that Candace next season probably has enough room to really focus on her own solo music career to where she's flying above all this petty drama, lies, and deceit. Pretty much like she did this season. You can tell that Candace has a lot going on and feels like she has a lot more to lose now. And she really wasn't reacting and giving in to this drama and this pettiness. And for that, I do say kudos. But I think by Chris putting production on notice and saying, hey, we know these dangerous games you all are allegedly playing with us, and y'all have to stop. If not, we're going to continue to go to the public with it. And I think that's a very smart move that can pretty much work in their favor. And so with that being said, another part of this rumor that I do find very interesting, and that Chris did, that I think also gets another thing off of Candace's back that a lot of people really didn't see coming, and I really didn't understand it until I was talking to one of my sources, that it makes sense on how Chris coming forward with this information really does help Candace with this other issue that she's currently having. And the issue is this. This whole lawsuit that Michael has with Candace about defamation of character, it really does show that behind the scenes that there are allegedly these big elaborate plans that come about during the off season that the ladies come up with to defame people's character and people's reputation, and that it may actually be something that is condoned or at least supported by production. And so with that being said, if Candace has ever even been in a production planning meeting or official or unofficial production planning meeting, it's very easy for her to say, well, you know, this is something that is encouraged by producers. This is something that we are encouraged to do in front of cameras for reality television. Much like the Fox News issue with Trump and this lawsuit. When they all sit down for a deposition, all of the on-air personalities pretty much said, we're lying, we're faking it, we don't really like Trump like that, but we're just doing it because this is what they expect of us from our audience, and this is how we make our money. So if you do sit Candace down for a deposition like that, you know, her honest truth about her experience on the show could just bring the whole Real Housewives of Potomac franchise crashing down and really just solidify what fans already pretty much feel about, or how we already feel about the show, is there's a bunch of lies, deceit, and fake drama. So I do think with Chris coming public with this, it does kind of put production on notice like, hey, this is bigger than just Michael feeling like his character was defamed or anything. This has bigger implications, and I think it may put a fire under the production and the network to get this lawsuit like either settled or dismissed, and try to get both sides cooled off, because before this one lawsuit unravels the entire franchise, which it definitely does have the potential to do, considering all of this other evidence that we have seen of Michael acting inappropriately on camera. But kinfolk, I want to know what you guys think. After hearing all this information, do you think that Chris coming forward with this alleged omission or account that someone was trying to tip him off about a plan or an alleged plan to defame his character on national television, do you think he played his cards right, or do you think he did not play his cards right in favor of him and Candace's position on the show? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Alright, kinfolk, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys over in the next one. Peace.